Greetings, Necrophiends. Welcome to the second episode of Fdtv. I'm John Souders here with our very special guest and avid, if not rabid reader, Rob.
Rob, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Very good.
Welcome to Fdtv.
This is phenomenal.
I'm glad you enjoy it.
Looking around, it's unreal. This is just what I would expect from the Frozen Dead creator.
Indeed. Which is a store question. What, pray tell, drew you for the Frozen Dead? What about it captured you, grasped you by the balls, and just yanked?
I guess it was all of the, first of all, the art. I love the style it's drawn in, and I love all of the pop reference content. You can pull up anything, and I love how twisted the stories get.
Quite so. Pop culture kind of goes hand in hand with the Frozen Dead. Literally. Also, what else about it that really just you can relate to? I see that obviously you're a big fan of punk rock. What aspects of punk rock would you say liken to the Frozen Dead?
It's got a lot of the horror punk from like the Misfits roots, and it goes from there, all of the horror punk bands and underground punk, but then it takes elements of like pro wrestling,
true,
and other really cool pop reference images from fast food to movies,
to even simple cartoons like Scooby-Doo. Or excuse me, Scooby-Doo.
And I think one of the things I love most about Johnny and the Frozen Dead, it's like a big family to Johnny.
It truly is.
And he likes to take care of his family, and from the beginning I would notice if one of his followers was on hard times, to cheer him up with the help of other fans, Johnny would send out merchandise and things to these people. And I can honestly say the first time I came to visit, last year was a very, very hard year for me. And Johnny gave me some awesome merch. I was able to catch up on the backstories of the books.
Nice.
And
Excellent.
actually learn a lot more about the Frozen Dead.
That's good. I know I myself have had, because I came into it way after it had been released, and Johnny was kind enough to came in and got me up to par with everything and instantly loved it. Even with the new storyline, with the claymation, I was very fortunate to actually have one of the figures that was used.
That's something that I've got as well. So
really?
We've got that in common.
Awesome.
As a kid, I'm about, I think, 10 or so years older than Johnny, so I always read Cracked and Mad magazines as a kid, and
Good stuff.
I had a box probably 18 inches tall of just Cracked and Mad, and
that's beautiful.
I have no need for them now. My house is bursting at the seams. There's such an influence Johnny has from both Cracked and Mad. We made a trade, and I can say I am the proud owner of the Crucified Grimace claymation, and it is amazing.
Awesome. That is clearly.
My house is filled with mostly rock and roll memorabilia and stuff, but it's just a prized...
Well, as it should be, to have this piece of
It's an original
culture.
piece of art from something that I really love.
Another thing that I know because also being a big fan of, I always said that pop culture and referencing cartoons like Scooby, I'm proud to say that I actually have the original outlined piece of Scooby-Doo, which proudly hangs in my living room and gets quite the questionable piece from anybody that comes. It may be what happened to Scooby, but hey, it is what it is.
And I don't know if you know, Johnny is quite a musician.
I have heard some videos, heard some songs.
He might not, the average person probably hasn't heard of his stuff. Might not be the average person's taste, but I like that.
Hey, eclectic tastes are what make the world go round.
So for him to have a punk, underground, hardcore background like that and incorporate the punk attitude into Frozen Dead makes it even better.
Truly encompasses the heart, Bret Hart of the Frozen Dead. Speaking of characters, which character, if you were just forced to spend eternity with any character from the Frozen Dead, who would it be and why?
I would probably like Johnny Necro, but I spend a lot of time at home with Grimace. We talk a bit. He wants to be taken down from the cross.
Don't do it.
Grimace and I have always gotten along, and as long as he stays on that cross,
then that is where he shall remain.
Bret would be great to hang out with.
Yes, as long as you don't mind a little drinking and tobacco.
You can drink only once. We could do a few shots.
Clearly. Hey, in heaven there is no beer. That's why we drink it here.
Speaking of Frozen Dead, do you know how the comic got its name?
Please enlighten me.
Johnny was going to be starting a band with a friend, and they were going to call it Frozen Dead.
Really? But going forward, for any new readers to Frozen Dead or people seeking out, what would be your best advice? What do you think would suggest to them?
Well, as I am relatively new, I think maybe a year or so now, just dive in. If you're aware of pop culture, and you'll easily get the references, and you can go, if you want to pick up with the story, go back a few episodes. He posts, I think, every single day.
Pretty much, yes.
And it doesn't take long to go back and look at the stuff, but even if you just wanted to jump in and never go back, it's easy enough to figure, but it is well worth going back into the archives.
Sure.
Because there's, I don't know how many storylines there have been.
If you go and become a member of Tomb of the Frozen Dead on Facebook, you can look back at all these comics, way back from the beginning. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Do it. 23 years. 23 years.
I'll admit I haven't gone back the full time, but it's well worth doing a deep dive.
It definitely. And hey, it doesn't take long, only a few minutes. Well, Rob, it's been great, and thank you for being here at Fdtv. It's been great getting to know you, hear your backstory, and we hope that Frozen Dead will continue to infect your life.
Oh, I'm sure it will, and I'd like to thank you for having me, and to all the Fdtv viewers, rock on and keep liking the Frozen Dead.
Bad dreams.